Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to our City Council meeting, the City of Mableton. This is June 5th, 2024. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mayor Owens.
Present.
Councilmember Ron Davis, District 1.
Present.
Councilmember Damien Oladapo, District 2.
Present.
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Keisha Jeffcoat for District 3.
Present.
Councilmember Patricia Out, District 4.
Present.
And Councilmember for TJ Ferguson, District 5.
Present.
And Deborah Herndon, District 6.
Present.
And we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let the record state that we started, the call to order was at 6:48. With that being said, Councilman Davis, would you lead us in invocation, please, sir?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Most High God, we thank you, Father, for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for each and every day you give us, Father God. We pray right now that your mighty hand come and touch each of these residents, each of these council members. Father, give us the wisdom to rule as you would have us to rule, Father, with integrity, Father God, with wisdom, with strength, Father God, with decisiveness and unity, Father. We thank you for this community, Father God, this city called Mableton, and we pray, Father God, that you just guide us in every way that we should walk in it. We thank you, we praise you, and we honor you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Pro Tem Jeffcoat, proud Army veteran.
Cool.
Proud Army veteran.
Go Navy.
Councilwoman Jeffcoat, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure.
Stand if you can, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Council, you've all been presented with our agenda packet. It's quite lengthy this week. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda packet as written.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we'll move right along to item 6. Item 6 is our presentations, acknowledgements, and proclamations. We do have a couple this evening. To start off the acknowledgements, though, I do want to acknowledge the newest staff member for the City of Mableton. City of Mableton now has an executive assistant. This was the second executive assistant that was passed last year, and that is Miss Allison Benson. She's back there in the back. Welcome, Allison. She's hit the ground running already, has already proven her worth, if you will, jumping right in with some of the things we have going on, and assisting over the weekend. And I was in the office this week, and she was on it. So we've got a great talent and someone really ready to jump in and help the city. For the next item, I would like to have a proclamation that comes from our county, from Cobb County. And with that, I'd like to have our county commissioner, Monique Sheffield, please join us.
Thank you all so much, and it's a pleasure to see so many of you in the place this evening. I am just bringing a proclamation on behalf of the Board of Commissioners to say happy birthday to you all and to proclaim that you are celebrating a one-year anniversary, and I'll make additional proclamations within this document. So here we go. Whereas, sorry.
tearing up our stuff.
Yeah, that's for the blooper reel, just in case we're very keen. Okay, whereas the original Mableton, named after plantation owner Robert Mable, was incorporated in 1912 but gave up its charter in 1916 as part of flood recovery efforts. The area has long served as a historic and cultural centerpiece with such touchstones as the Mable House Amphitheater, and Six Flags Over Georgia, attracting visitors from throughout the nation. And whereas the incorporation of the new city of Mableton passed by referendum in November 2022 and became officially incorporated on January 1st, 2023, creating Cobb's largest municipality, stretching through most of South Cobb with an estimated population of 78,000 residents. And whereas the new city held its election the following March and runoff in April, resulting in the placement of Mayor Michael Owens, District 1 Councilman Ron Davis, District 2 Councilwoman Dami Oladapo, District 3 Councilwoman Keisha Jeffcoat, District 4 Councilwoman Patricia Auk, District 5 Councilman T.J. Ferguson, and District 6 Councilwoman Deborah Herndon. And whereas Mableton proudly holds the distinction of being the largest city in Cobb County, reflecting dynamic growth in a vibrant community spirit. In just 1 year, Mableton has rapidly established itself as a city of great promise and potential. And whereas the mayor and council have also overseen the onboarding of finance consultant Frank Malazzi, city manager William Tanks, city attorney Amelia Walker Ashby, city clerk Susan Hoyt, executive assistant to the mayor Lily Smith, and executive assistant to council and office manager Allison Benson. And whereas all mayor and city council members, appointees, and staff have been working with Cobb County officials to provide a seamless transition of service to its residents. Therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, commemorate the first anniversary of Mableton's incorporation as a city, celebrating a milestone and quickly cementing its place among our great cities. This, the 5th day of June 2024. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, would you want to come up and accept? I know that was pretty long, but it's definitely better than me singing Happy Birthday. There you go. Congratulations.
They can go up in our new building.
And in addition to this amazing proclamation from our county commissioner, we do have a letter, a congratulations letter from the Mableton Improvement Coalition, and we have a representative of the board, Cassandra Brown, here, I think. Cassandra, would you step forward and please read the letter?
Thank you. Bringing you all greetings from the Mableton Improvement Coalition. Also, I want to send apologies from our president, Nate Smith, who could not be here today. So, Honorable Mayor Michael Owens, City Council members Davis, Oladapo, Jeffcoat, Auk, Ferguson, and Herndon. Congratulations on our first year as the City of Mableton. 1 year ago, you embarked on a remarkable journey to establish Mableton as a beacon of self-governance and local empowerment. Today, we celebrate the first anniversary of our new city, now the largest in Cobb County, with a diverse population of over 79,000 residents. The journey was not without its challenges. In the beginning, some were skeptical of the need for cityhood, happy to leave things as they are. Yet through the tireless efforts of our mayor and city council, the benefits of local governance have been made clear. We have seen and heard firsthand the advantages of having a city tailored to our unique needs and aspirations. The establishment of Mableton as a city was a bold declaration of our community's values and vision for the future. It was a commitment to invest our time, talent, resources into building the mechanisms of a successful city. Our hope is that Mayor Owens and our 6 council members will exemplify what it means to work collaboratively, setting a course for smart growth and sustainable development that will benefit generations to come. As we reflect on this past year, we recognize the milestones that have been achieved and the obstacles that were overcome. We are hopeful that the groundwork is being laid for a city that is not only administratively efficient, but also a place where every resident can thrive. On behalf of the Mableton Improvement Coalition, I express our deepest gratitude to everyone who has played a part in this historic endeavor. Your dedication to the cause of Mableton cityhood has been nothing short of inspiring. Here is to many more years of progress, unity, and prosperity. Happy first anniversary, Mableton.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Definitely do appreciate that. So this wraps the presentation, acknowledgement, proclamations for today. Item 7 is appointments. We do not have any more appointments, but I do want to touch on, I think we'll talk about this more in the comments. I'm sure people will have some. But I do want to acknowledge the thanks that we've gotten for first year anniversary, as many of you, as I look out across the audience, did take part in our first year anniversary. That was a grouping of four events, we'll say, over 4 different days. That was last week. And so I do want to acknowledge that the proclamation from there. We did receive 2 other proclamations, one from State Representative Terry Cummings, and also a congratulatory letter from our United States Senator, Mr. Raphael Warnock. So those will be presented at our next council meeting, just to let you guys know. So with that, let's go to public comments. Madam Clerk, do you have any public comment cards?
Yes, I have several cards here. I want to remind everybody it's a 2-minute time limit to allow other people to speak, and also so we can get on with the business of the city. And please state your name and what district you live in. Some of the cards do have districts on them, some don't. So if you would say your district. The first person is Jeff Pageant, and after Jeff is Sonia Wheatley. And there's a 2-minute time limit. Thank you.
I'll try to be brief.
Come on, Jeff.
Now, I want to start something new here for the citizens of Mableton. We always hear negativity every week and stuff like that. And I just want to start telling y'all some positive stuff that goes on weekly around here in Mableton that a lot of people don't know. And if I can find my notes, I'll tell you what it is. Here it is. First of all, congratulations on the city of Mableton. We had a ball this weekend, didn't we? It was a lot of work in them 4 days, you know, but we got her done. I went up there, I went to that senior citizens thing thinking, well, you know, might be some possibilities, you know, lady friends up here or something. Now, I realize I'm not a senior citizen yet, so I'm just not there yet. So I still got a lot of young years left of me. But anyway, I just want to tell y'all about, we didn't have Adopt a Mile on Saturday this week because of Mableton Day, but Sunday, Barry Cribbs got out there with the Boy Scout troop number 22, and this was the first ever Adopt a Mile. And they done over on Cooper Lake Road. They had 17 bags of trash picked up, and they, you know, them boys had a good time, and they really had a good time out there. And it's good to get out there and teach these young folks about this and get the awareness out so they can, you know, when they drive down the road and they get their car, they won't be throwing trash out. And you know, and Lions Club, you know, Lions Club volunteered at the you know, Mableton Day. You know, we had a good time out there and volunteered, and I ended up finishing last in the race. So next year I'll try to be first. I'm gonna work on it next year. And, you know, Lions Club does a lot of work here in the community, and if y'all ever have any old glasses, you know, or any glass cases, please let us know. We like to take them because we can use them. You know, it helps us with because, you know, we do a lot of work with kids with vision. And we get out here and clean, and do our trash pickups, and we also work with people in need, these food ministries, and the Sweetwater Mission, and so on. So y'all just keep us in your mind. Thank you. I don't know if my 2 minutes is up or what, but I'm out of here.
Okay, Sonia Wheatley of District 3, and after Sonia is Pat Burns.
Hi, I'm Sonia Wheatley. I am in District 3, and I'm here specifically to really talk about the Urban Redevelopment Authority proposal. I have to say I'm a bit hot about this. I know that you guys have a hard job ahead of you. You've done a lot, but I honestly think it's time to focus in on what the charter is. The charter is sanitation and code enforcement. It is planning, it's code enforcement. What it's not is picking a property that is wooded, that is undeveloped, and trying to purchase it under the guise of it being blighted. I don't know what the goal is. If you want to buy property that potentially could be used for city property, then be honest about it. Trying to say that you want it because it's blighted, it is an undeveloped wooded parcel. The other one is stubbed out for a subdivision. My concern, and the reason I am so hot about it, is because you guys are not land barons. You don't get to use the city's money to purchase property and decide what you want done with it. If it's blighted, if it's too small, if it is a true blight, an eyesore, burned out, dangerous, those are parcels that are eligible. But what you can't get into the business of doing is trying to dictate. You're not developers. You don't get to buy property. You don't get to plan it. That is for the private world, not for a city to take care of. So I strongly urge you to reconsider this and just your general plan. Focus on what you need to do. You've got a lot of work ahead of you. You guys have been doing that, but your swim lane is code enforcement, sanitation, parks and rec, and zoning. It is not trying to be land barons. So please think about that as you move forward.
Thank you.
Pat Burns.
Good evening. My name is Pat Burns. I'm a member, excuse me, I'm a member of the Friends of the Concord Covered Bridge Historic District. Toni Morrison, the Nobel laureate author, once mused, and I'm paraphrasing, "There is no small bench by the side of the road for me to sit, to contemplate the enslaved whose lives pass through and by this location." From these musings, the Toni Morrison Society began to place benches in revered and significant locations. Friends of the Historic District have been awarded a Toni Morrison bench in recognition of a once enslaved woman by the name of Matilda Ruff and her family. It will be placed in the Covered Bridge Historic District on a slip of green space near the entrance to the Silver Comet Trail on Concord Road. The green space will henceforth be known as Matilda's Garden. This came about serendipitously after my family moved into one of the old houses by the Covered Bridge. In the kitchen cupboard, I found a small yellowed 3x5 note card, and on the card were the names Matilda, Calvin, Zaida, and Rhoda. I knew in my bones that was a significant name. According to the 1860 slave schedule, Martin Luker Ruff, who owned land along the Nickajack Creek, also owned a black female, a black male teenager, and 2 little girls. Then 10 years later, in the 1870 census, after emancipation, their names emerged: Matilda, Calvin, Zaida, and Rhoda. I wanted to give Matilda and her family recognition, but a sign or plaque didn't seem enough. The Toni Morrison bench was a perfect solution. A bench is strong, of black steel. A bench is interpretive. A bench is interactive with the living. Friends of the Concord Covered Bridge Historic District are sponsoring the Toni Morrison bench. Placement ceremony will be Tuesday, June 18th at 10 a.m. with Representative Terry Cummings, keynote speaker. In conclusion, Matilda, who lived across Concord Road from this very spot and who represents all of the more than 3,000 formerly enslaved people in Cobb County, I believe she will be there. I think her presence will grace the ceremony.
Lee Miller of District 4. And after Lee is Monica Delancey.
Hello, everyone. My name's Lee. I'm a volunteer with the South Cobb Arts Alliance and a resident of District 4 here in Mableton. Very briefly, I want to tell everybody about a new 5K run and walk event that SCA is hosting in Powder Springs. It's called the Art of the Springs 5K, which will be held in Thurman Springs Park on September 14th. The 5K race is also being conducted in conjunction with an art festival, the Art of the Springs Festival. September is a pretty good time off, but we have early registration open right now for the 5K run and walk event, and it only lasts through June 16th. And we have introductory pricing available at that time, and it goes up after that. So that's the best price you're going to get is through June 16th if you're interested in doing a 5K. We'd also like to stress that walkers are also welcome. Walkers are just important as people who run, and our watchword on that matter is finishing is winning. If you'd like to register for the 5K, registration is available at raceroster.com. There is a direct link on the SCAA Facebook page. We also have a new 5K Facebook page where we're going to be posting announcements regarding the 5K event because we have quite a bit of posting on the South Cobb Arts Alliance page already. So we did open up a new Facebook page for the race, and we'll be posting fairly often. As an aside, on July 13th, we're going to be opening up Art at the Avenue West Cobb. It's a juried art show. This will be the third year we've been at the Avenue West Cobb with the event, and SCA has been operating continuously for 52 years, and people who have been following us a long time say it's the best event we've had, and we've had pretty good luck with it. Thank you for your attention tonight. That concludes my comments, and we hope we'll see you at the event.
Monica Delancey, District 2, and after Monica is Denny Wilson, and that will be the last card.
Yes, good evening, Monica Delancey, District 2. And again, congratulations on the first year anniversary birthday for Mableton. I would like to read about the business licenses for multifamily property. Beginning with 2024 business license renewal season, Cobb County requires multifamily rental dwellings of 4 or more units to be inspected for code compliance in order to preserve property values, promote community safety and well-being, and encourage investment in upkeep and maintenance. Cobb County has 32 specified multifamily apartment communities. As well, there are a high number of investment companies like Invitation Homes that own a number of property in Mableton, okay? I would like to know, has the city of Mableton officially accepted the Cobb County Code that requires these properties to be inspected? In addition, what would be your process? And will you have a department that focuses on making sure these investment companies are not false advertising their properties? Will you consult with a resident association? The importance of that is that a number of times these property owners come in and they flip them and sell them within 2 years. But the people that reside on the property has been there for more than 5, 6, 7 years. So it needs to be a respect level to consult with the residents and not leave the residents out of the process at all. A number of times there's been saying that they don't want no more apartments built. Well, what's happening is, I can understand that because once those apartments age out and they shiny newness go away, property owners do not focus on the upkeep. All they focus on how can they get the next best money so they can share with the other investors. So you do have a number of properties in the South Cobb area, specifically Mableton community, that are over 30 years old, and they're charging market rate rent, but yet refusing to upkeep the property. And when you have someone like a person to go and could tell them about the property, the regional manager says, well, we're going to terminate your lease, or we're not going to renew your lease. So that intimidates other residents from complaining. And what does that do to our families? What does it do to our children? This summer, they were hoping to have a pool. They've been without a pool for 5 years. And every year they said, we're going to get up and going. Every year we're going to get up and going. And then, oh, well, maybe next year. But yet they're still charging market rate rent. So I say to you, Mableton City Council, this should not be Mableton. You should not allow for these property owners to come in and wreak havoc on these residents, on our families. That's not the best that Mableton could do. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Ms. Delancey.
Danny Wilson, she's the last card.
Good evening, Danny Wilson, District 2. Congratulations, you guys, on a job well done. As I said earlier when I spoke to the mayor, you're surrounded by a group of smart, talented people. Use the knowledge. But I want to speak to something that was said earlier, a city that's tailored to our unique needs. It can't be tailored to our unique needs with all of these townhomes going up. I mean, businesses come to communities based on rooftops. I retired from economic development, state of Georgia. So I know what businesses look for when they move into a community. And true, they look for rooftops. But it's not apartments and it's not townhomes. It's single-family, multi-family homes. That's what they look for, because a townhome, so they say, it only takes one to belly up, and there goes the community. And I've been told that there are townhomes that were recently built in the city of Mableton. These investors have bought them, and they're already renting them out. So what is that going to, and I'm not saying renters are bad. Don't get me wrong, so don't anybody jump up and jump on me, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we are in a unique place. I mean, we can set the tone for what Cobb County can and will become. We sit at the corner of the county. We have easy access to I-20, 285, 75, 85. We got Six Flags over Georgia. We got this beautiful epicenter here. We got the most beautiful view of the Atlanta skyline over on the old Magnolia Crossing complex. I mean, we're a diamond in the rough, and people use that term, but they actually really don't know what it means. It means that you guys have been delivered a gift that you can develop and you can mold and you can make it your own. But you cannot do that if you continue to let townhomes be built on every corner. I mean, just drive around and look for yourselves if you think I'm lying. Everywhere from I-20 all the way up to Barrett Parkway, there is nothing but townhomes. But if I go down Barrett Parkway up to West Cobb, East Cobb, all I see is single-family homes. So why do we have to settle for less and accept all of these townhomes in a community as beautiful as ours that you guys can build out? Because again, East and West Cobb don't like to hear it, but it is the truth. South Cobb built East and West Cobb. Without South Cobb, there would never have been an East and West Cobb. So we can set the tone for what Cobb County will and can become. And as you guys govern over your communities, please remember that, because what's going on now cannot be our future. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
I've got to tell y'all, I live in the best district there is. That's number 5.
Councilman Ferguson, keep your money in your pocket.
I'll pay you later, Jeff.
That concludes all our public comments, but I do want to make note, I skipped over appointments. We do not have any appointments today, but as we walked in today, I think every member of the council has one of these certifications. And this is a certification from the University of Georgia and the Carl Vinson Institute of Government to certify that myself and each one of our council members and I want to say every member of the staff took part and attended and completed a 6-hour planning and zoning workshop last week. Unbeknownst to a typo that may be on here. Come on, UGA. I'm not going there. There's a typo. It does say May 23rd, 2023. But the significance of this is important. It was, again, myself, the entire council, I think all of the staff, and members, prospective future appointees to the Planning Commission all attended. I know a few of you are in the audience this evening. And it was a 6-hour day-long event that we held down at the GMA office in downtown Atlanta, where we had a customized planning and zoning workshop that was held that they specifically curtailed to the city of Mableton, to our needs. So I want to thank all of you who attended, both staff, council, and especially hopefully our future Planning Commission members for taking the time to go to the workshop. Again, very important as it talks about taking over planning and zoning. It's a necessary step that we had to make. I'm proud that we've now another threshold that we've crossed on our journey to take over planning and zoning in the city. So we will do what many residents want us to do, which is effectively plan for the future, for the bright future that the city will have. So thank you and congratulations everyone for receiving this certificate. Thank you. Let's move on to the consent agenda, which is item 9. The consent agenda has one item, which is regular meeting minutes for May 22nd. And I would like to entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Hearing no opposition, that has passed. We'll move to item 10, which is unfinished business. The first item, which is 10A, is consideration and approval of RFQ 24-02, which is the professional planning firm to conduct services for the City of Mableton's Comprehensive Plan 2045. This has been in discussion for quite some time before it was brought to the council. It was brought to the council in May. Actually, it's been twice before, and it's been deferred. There's been an awful lot of discussion about this and a lot of opportunity going from the 6 members or the 6 companies that had initially responded to our RFP back on March 1st. And then through a successive process of narrowing that down to the 6 respondees down to 3, and then to a special selection panel that was led by our city manager to move this down to 1. At this point in time, I would like to turn it over to our city manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and council. The panel, again, with vigorous conversation, 2 assessments, 1 extra to have a deeper dive and talk and get to see these firms beyond what they look like on paper, to talk with them directly, to have questions from 3 staff and from 3 council members. Good discussion, very challenging questions, and at the end of the day, my charge was obviously not to bring my personal opinion in it or any individual's personal opinion or their individual rating, but was to bring back the results of all 6 members of that panel after, again, the 1-hour interview and also the 20-minute previous presentation and question and answer session. The panel is recommending the Grice Consulting Company for the comprehensive plan services for the city of Mableton 2045.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. At this point in time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the RFQ 2402 to be able to move forward with the comprehensive plan.
I move that we approve the approval of RFQ 2420 for the professional planning firm Grice to conduct services for the City of Mableton Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor of approving RFQ 24-02, the professional planning firm, which is listed as Grice, for the City of Mableton Comprehensive Plan 2045, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay.
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 Let the record state, I do believe that was a 4-3 vote to the affirmative. Thank you. If that is approved, we will move forward. Mableton 2045 is off and running. Our comprehensive plan will move forward with an effective date of, ma'am?
Mayor, I hate to ask the council to reconsider, but for clarification, is this approval to, because my understanding is that this is approval to bring back the contract and to further negotiate with this firm?
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay.
This is a selection process.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know that there was concern just about being able to move expeditiously as anticipated, but.
I mean, my expectation is they will move exceedingly fast, being the fact that they presented this on March 1st. So, we're going to expect tonight for the selection, and then by, I mean, the city manager didn't say it specifically, but my expectation is by our next meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. We can have a contract back by that date.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So this is for clarity for selection.
Okay, yeah, and that is the motion that you approved, so that's consistent with my understanding as well. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, so let's move forward to item 11, which is new business. Item 11A is the ordinance updating Chapter 7, which is our Hotel-Motel excise tax. As many of you are aware, in Cobb County, the Hotel-Motel excise tax is 10%. Once we became a city and stood up our own ordinance, by law, we could only charge a 5% excise tax. To move that to 8%, we were required to have a bill at the General Assembly to get the extra 3% to take it back to 8%. As I mentioned in the last meeting, I think that was one of our legislative priorities. That bill was introduced into the House, was approved by the House and the Senate, signed off by Governor Kemp, and per process, now that we have had a resolution, we've now had a bill created at the General Assembly. That bill is now passed and been signed off by the governor, that we can now move this increase for excise tax back to our body to have an ordinance. And again, as an ordinance is just a first read. And again, for everyone, just for clarity's sake, this is not net new in the sense that we are rising the taxes above what they were before we came to a city, which was the 8%. So, Madam Attorney, is there anything you have to add to this?
No, Mayor, I believe you covered
Thank you,
all
ma'am.
parameters.
Council, any discussion? All right, hearing no discussion, this will serve as the first read. It's expected that we'll bring this back at our next meeting for the second read to be able to move forward with the approving the excise tax. Item 11B is consideration and approval for the mayor to negotiate and execute financial services contracts. This is something that is the first time coming, I think, directly to the panel, directly to the council, but I know it's something that our city manager has been in discussion with as we have a current spending plan. We're looking at moving forward with building out departments. So the floor is yours, city manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is in line with the council's commitment to financial excellence and transparency. As we come to the end of our spending plan, we have taken upon ourselves a lot of work, contracts, employees, leases, and we are in a position where we have to produce financial statements. We're getting ready to onboard an accounting software. And then from my experience, when you make transitions from a simple system of keeping up with revenues, expenses, and you go to a more complex system that's going to look at valuation of things simple as sick leave actually has to be evaluated on your financial statements and how much you kept for paid time off. So it gets a little bit more complicated than just keeping up with our revenues, expenses. And so to make that transition and to support and congratulate actually Mr. Frank Malazzi, who's done a great job of getting us to where we are, getting us ready for FY25, which is going to feed our formally adopted budget in 2026. Getting us ready for that, I felt necessary to bring on subject matter experts to help Mr. Falazzi look at our financial system, make recommendations, start some internal controls, help us make the transition from our bookkeeping setup system now into our accounting platform of BSA, and also to produce an end-of-the-year report, projected budget. And so this is what these subject matter experts who have a lot of experience in local government and GASB, they're coming to help us with. And so with that said, I'll be asking at the next meeting also, once I talk with the financial consultant, that we do ask to extend the current spending plan for up to 60 days until we can get these official documents ready to give a report, probably in the form of a work session before the council to allow them to ask questions about our financial status, kind of lining us up, teeing us up for FY25, which will feed FY26. And I do have 2 representatives here from the firm if necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. And to that penultimate point, I want to, we will have discussions about the spending plan and what we decide to do. As our discussion before about potentially extending that or reauthorizing it, there's going to be options, right? I think that we can have that everybody be comfortable with, but I want to make sure that the council knows what we're going to do. It's not directly connected with this, but I know with the June 30th date coming up, we want to have a plan in place to go forward.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's a fact. I've spoken with our financial consultant. He believes that what we're going to do is appropriate. And even though we're not required doing transition, we want to start practicing as if we are in official requirements, because you don't want to wait till we get there to do it. So yes, sir, we'll have an answer before June 30th on what we can spend past June 30th.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to entertain a motion to consider approval for the mayor to negotiate and execute financial services contract.
I make a motion for the mayor.
I'm sorry, this is not a first read, second read sort of situation?
No, it is not.
Okay. And so can we talk just a little bit further?
We will once we get a second, and we'll go into discussion.
Okay.
Say again?
No,
this is a resolution.
Yeah, it's not an ordinance. It doesn't require a first read.
Yeah. So, Councilwoman Oladapo, you are making a motion?
Sure, make a motion for the mayor to negotiate and execute financial services contracts.
I second.
Thank you. Being so moved and have a seconded, I now will open the floor for discussion. Councilman Ferguson.
So my question goes to the actual recommendation that I see and how it talks about end of year and what we've done, and then a proposed spending plan versus a proposed budget. And
That's correct.
Words matter, so I just want to make sure that
Yes, sir.
we're working towards the same thing.
Yep, I actually probably said projected, but you're right, when you start using the formal term of adopted budget, that triggers certain requirements.
Correct.
So I can say proposed or projected, but I would not recommend we adopt a budget in transition. We would call it a spending plan, just to make sure that we don't trigger any requirements from DCA while we're in transition, or the University of Georgia.
Yeah, and I don't think this is very similar to what we did last year when we had a formally adopted spending plan that we went through several iterations. We had a public hearing and ultimately we approved it. Not only approved the spending plan, I think we also made it as a resolution that we held ourselves to over the past year.
Correct.
So I don't think this is any different. We do have the ability to have a formalized budget. I don't even know that we would submit that to DCA. The DCA's requirements is that coming out of our transition period that we do, but that would be next year, not this year.
And I guess I'm harping on this because as I read through again, words matter. As we read through the agenda item memorandum, it talks about an FY25 budget in the background and summary and that sort of thing. And then once we get over to the actual recommendation, it then calls it a spending plan, which is a different word. Mm-hmm. So I just want to be careful that we're using the proper terms and we're consistent across the board.
He's absolutely correct. And I think we had said that we will call it a spending plan. And so you'll also notice, though, where it says FY25 budget, that is in lowercase.
Agreed.
So being that it's lowercase is not the proper form. When the proper form was used, the capital letters were used for proposed spending plan.
So 26 is lowercase too.
Again, that's just saying budget in the informal sense, not the formal sense of what would be submitted.
Okay. And I just want to make sure that we're putting the proper thought process forward to the citizens who were expecting one thing and we're kind of deviating from that at this point. Sort of, from wording.
Well, from a
wording perspective.
Yes, from a wording perspective, correct. And I don't necessarily want to get into that right now around the specifics of it. We know that when we produce a budget, which is our city manager's talking about, for 26 will be different. Right. But I don't think this is any different. I mean, using the term spending plan or budget while we're in the transition phase is a choice of words.
Yeah, the key word is adopted. Yeah, once you have hearings, you can call proposed, draft, you can call all kinds of things, but once it's adopted and voted on, that word is adopted, it can be formal. But there's a point of order from our Master at Arms City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor. So Susan does not believe that the name of the companies was articulated within the motion. So just out of caution, if you could just clarify the name of the companies, just in case it was not within the motion that was made.
And it may be written in two different motions.
It's on page 21, too.
Two different motions.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
You want to go back
I can.
to the motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Thank you,
All right,
Councilwoman.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I make a motion for the mayor to negotiate and execute financial services contracts with Sumter Local Government Services and Roche Advisory Services.
Thank you for that clarification. I'll entertain, do we have a second for that?
I second.
Thank you. So properly moved and seconded. I'd now like to call for a vote. All those in favor?
I'm sorry, I actually had a...
we have a
yeah,
moment
we
of
were still in discussion, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I actually have a
Okay,
question.
please, sorry. Go
For
ahead.
our city manager, can you just kind of state and explain
exactly what the scope will be for these two professional services companies, and exactly about the time frame, and in addition to that, include why we are, as a city, are choosing to use consultants for this stage of the game rather than maybe hiring someone, in finance, as an employee. So can you speak to that?
Yes, ma'am. When you hire employees in local government, God forbid if one ever decides to charge one of us with a discrimination suit or working out of order, we better have a properly defined job description, pay chart, org chart, personnel file. And in our transition period, y'all have done a great job of getting that started, but we're not there yet to have it really scripted and ready to go in case, God forbid, you start getting 5 or 6 employees. Things happen. People do stuff. So you want to have your HR system defensible. And not saying ours isn't, but as we grow and we start having people, better be ready. And so before you start hiring that high talent of a finance director, accounts payable, HR director, you want that system set up. It will take at least 2 or 3 weeks to get correct talent in here. Realistic. It will be in July before we have staff on board ready. I have the BS, just in my experience, as the mayor has mentioned, to make sure we have. As you know what that is, I don't have to table the 5 staff. But to the other part, ex-leases, employees that need to scale up for the macro transition as for community development, code enforcement, planning and zoning. If we start getting in the area of those 3 services, you got to have it, and the margin of error will increase variably, because now you're dealing with so many transactions, payroll, hiring, medical. We need to be prepared to create a capital improvement plan and capital replacement plan. It's a little bit complex, and I don't want to get too much into detail. I do have guys here that have experience that can speak of it, but also it's require assets. They have to be properly depreciated, utilize mechanisms available for local governments to set up audited financial statements. We may be required by some folks as we start doing things, they want to see some audited financial statements. As we onboard BSA and we reduce the counting errors or anticipation of our first adopted budget. You don't want to, I know from experience, a very well-respected organization had a change in the accounting system and they couldn't account for $800,000. It wasn't anything they did wrong. It was just a transition in the accounting system. But because they did it incorrectly, they had it. So I'm setting us up for success in FY26. So that's the reason why.
For the public to know why we're making decision to hire consultants.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, okay.
And the timeline from the time that they to when they will either transition out, and as a city we...
A lot of moving parts. That's what these two, and they've already talked with Frank and Ross and Sumter. Managers, finance directors, these guys have done it for multiple cities. And so their scope is to be able to get us in a place where we'll have a good foundation moving forward. And Frank will be the lead. Obviously, I have oversight. But again, end of the year financial report, financial statement showing the end of the year financial report, projected spending plan based on how many employees you think we had, code enforcement, and so forth and so on. So that's what they will be tasked with to do.
So basically from the time they're hired at least to the end of...
Yeah, I don't expect, it's hard, we're going to talk about it. I wouldn't expect working with Sumter, I don't see that being more than a 2-month at most. But I am, good to your point, I would like to make sure we're good, but at the simultaneous while we had an HR firm, we're going to be recruiting and hiring finance staff. It would be nice to bring them on before this is wrapped up. I don't see this as being a long, this is not a 6-month engagement, no ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, for internal controls, for audit, they come back occasionally and check just to do spot checks. He's also IT auditor that will look at, it's a way they can set up systems that can check. If you pay something twice, out of mistake, a double payment, or we have some erroneous employee, it'll catch it.
Mr. Manager, I'll go ahead.
I was going to ask, so is this price for 6 months of service?
We have a max for both at $120,000. That is not necessarily what we'll spend, but I cannot exceed that if for that budget. It is in the spending plan. I think I've laid it out. I don't know if you have it, but it is in the spending plan. Some contract service, financial services, it's about $200,000, I believe.
And do we need to include the upper bound in the motion?
I'm sorry?
Do we need to include the upper bound of $120?
You can say not to exceed $120,000 for both. That's up to y'all.
Susan?
So the memorandum is not to exceed $120,000 between both of the firms, and the funding options are listed there that comes directly from the spending plan, so it's not in excess of that.
To make the motion again to include the upper bound of $120,000, not to exceed that.
Well, the boundaries are set by way from that direction. It is some initial work of bringing in some expertise, and both of the companies have representation that are here. I would actually like to open the floor if either of them would like to take the take a minute to address the council about the company and their services.
Yes, sir. We can start with Mike Lisenby, actually a Mableton resident.
Oh, yes. One more moment. I'm sorry.
Just a quick question. I see the proposed services in the back portion.
That was offered in case we needed to do that, but I don't plan to go that route.
We also have offices in San Francisco, LA. We do work extensively with governments and private industry. So I am local. I'm very happy to be helping out the city. Wanted to address one thing you just said, Mr. Ferguson, from an HR perspective. As you're going forward with our contract at Roush, we do allow the city at any point in time after they've worked with us for 4 months, if there's a professional that works out and they want to transition them, there's no additional cost. So we do not preclude you from hiring our individuals, and we do not charge you a fee after the fact. So just wanted to share that with you. We were asked to participate in this by bill to assist mostly with internal controls. So, again, when you're setting up a city and you're setting up the financials, transparency is everything. And I think the citizens want transparency. And, Mr. Tanks did mention that we can help to set up IT controls that will identify potential errors and omissions and mistakes within the new financial system and alert the council if in the event there is a potential mistake or duplicate payment or issue that's ongoing. So again, our role is to help to add transparency and add financial controls. But I'm happy to answer any questions from the council.
Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll have Mr. Warren Hutmacher to come up from Sumter Consulting.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Warren Hutmacher, and I'm the founder and president of Sumter Local Government Consulting. We were formed in November of 2021. My background is 25 years in local government, 20 years as a city manager of Avondale Estates, Norcross, Dunwoody, Johns Creek, and Hutto, Texas, before I started the firm. And specifically, Dunwoody was a brand new city when I started, so I started prior to incorporation and then walked through the entire process. So everything that you're going through now, we've done before. Also on our team is Chris Pike, CPA, has worked in local government also for about 20 years and was the initial finance director in Dunwoody. So all the issues that you have with startups to be putting in chart of accounts, internal controls, initial spending plans and projections, understanding all of the different revenue sources and how we account for that on a going forward, and all of the issues with contract services. We have specific expertise in that, so we look forward to being able to help you on this short term. Any questions that y'all may have?
All right. Thank you, Warren.
Thank you.
One last one for City Manager.
Yes, sir.
So this becomes an army behind Mr. Malazzi.
Yes, sir.
To do the things he has to do. Is this move take anything off?
City mode. You all have been in transitional mode, and since you asked that question publicly, I would love you all just to vote.
Which now takes us to 11C, which is consideration and approval of the city manager to purchase furniture in accordance to the spending plan. Again, key word here is accordance to the... They didn't vote yet. Oh, we didn't vote on it.
You didn't vote.
No, they didn't vote.
Boy, you said move on. I was moving on.
Oh. I can't hear, I'm sorry. Speak up.
All right. So, all right. So with that being said, my apologies. We're still on 11B. So entertain a motion for consideration and approval for the mayor to negotiate to execute financial services contract. Now, this motion was made. It was asked to list the two companies, which was done by Councilwoman Oladapo. It was seconded by, who was it seconded by? You have that?
Yeah, I got
Madam
that.
Clerk? All right. All those in favor of allowing the mayor to negotiate and execute financial services with a spending plan. In our current spending plan, we had lines of furniture that was outlined, as well as the identified vendor for that. Is that correct, Mr. Manager?
$25,000 under funding item 2300, of course, 1300.54.2300 furniture and fixtures of $25,000. Of course, I do not plan to exceed that amount, and so I am recommending approval of the furniture and fixtures for leased office space at the Epicenter through contract, business interiors, a minority provider, 20 years here in Cobb County of furnitures and fixtures.
And for clarity, that is furniture and fixtures, okay, for the lease space. I see that, okay. Not to exceed $25,000.
Exceed $25,000.
I second.
All those in favor of allowing the city manager to purchase furniture in accordance with the
Senior employee, so I have to wait my turn to pick time off, but I'm now a senior to somebody. Ms. Alice, a Mableton one-year anniversary. I'll admit, I've been involved with events now for over 7 years. I've seen some award-winning, I've been involved with award-winning events. I have trophies to show it in 2 cities, 1 city and 1 county. So I know what it takes to get stuff done, but kudos off to everyone that helped. You know who you are. I'll say Cassandra's name twice. She and Jeff, of course, our staff, and then what the council members done. Everything you all did, great job. Very impressed for what we did this past weekend. I was tired, but I had fun.
Thank you for that, sir. City Clerk.
No comments.
Thank you. Madam Attorney. Councilman Jeff Good. I'm sorry, Councilman Davis.
Yes, I want to say again, happy birthday to the city of Mableton. My apologies for not being a part of the festivities. I was in Texas, where there were a bunch of storms and flash flooding, and it made me say there's no place like home. But again, just want to say thanks to each and every one. I want to always try to recognize, well, all of you, but I see people from the Austere Community Task Force, from MIC, from Keep Cobb Beautiful, the pageant, Lions Club. I'm always saying this, and I'll keep saying it. It's always great to see so many citizens involved in what's going on with this city and your concern. Even though we may not always agree, the fact that you're here says so much. And it moves my heart that I see this almost every time we meet. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your dedication to making this city the best it can be, because it's going to take not only us, but it's going to take you. And with that, I will say thanks again.
Thank you, Councilman Oladapo.
Yes, a huge congratulations to the city of Mableton for our first anniversary, and a huge thank you to everyone who made this past weekend a success. I attended the event, and you can tell that a lot of thought and effort went into it. So thank you to the mayor, the council, the city staff, volunteers, vendors, and all the attendees for all of your involvement and dedication into making the event a success. I also want to flag two exciting events coming up in District 2. One of them is that we're having our first ever District 2 annual yard sale on the 20th of July. And the purpose of that event is to build community, meet and connect with your neighbors, and just foster a strong sense of community. And of course, affordable shopping, coming out to support local vendors, and proceeds from the yard sale will just go back to our community to support youth programs up until the end of this year. So I highly encourage you all to participate. If you have any questions about it, please do let me know. It's on the 20th of July from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Pure Hope Church on Mableton Parkway. We'll be camping out there in their parking lot and having the best time. So I hope I see all of you there. And another event that I want to talk about is in preparation for the back to school in August. On the 28th of July, a Sunday, I am partnering with Pure Hope Church and Representative Cummings to host a very nice cookout with burgers, hot dogs, water slide, you name it, right there in the parking lot for our kids. And we'll be distributing backpacks with school supplies as well that evening. So that's happening on the 28th of July from 5 to 6 for backpacks, for school supplies, and also donation in cash, if you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor Pro Tem Jeff Cook.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you for taking it. It's important for us to have the engagement and to hear from our community and to have that dialogue. So we were able to get green. And then Friday's Living Legends brunch was a heartfelt event. I enjoyed that. And then it culminated with the celebration that we had on Saturday with Mableton Day. I do want to congratulate Frank and Patty for their impressive performance on the fun run. I did miss that. I heard you embodied the spirit of that event, so I'm
Yes, she won.
Oh, yes, that's awesome.
Frank in the second.
And I do want to thank the mayor. He put a lot of time and effort and energy into making sure that we had 4 successful events. I want to thank the steering committee, our dedicated event planners, Lauren and LaToya, community partners. I want to thank Cassandra, everyone, the fantastic food trucks, and all the stakeholders who played a crucial role in making the celebration a success. And I'm looking forward, if this was the precedence, I'm looking forward to what we're going to do next year because it's going to be great. Thanks, Mom, also. And then I also missed a part of the performance. A lot of the celebratory events on Saturday, I, along with 4 other distinguished recipients, was selected to represent our respective areas, and I was privileged. And so I just want to thank Atlanta Neighborhood Development Program and the Community Leadership and Neighbor Works Farmers and Brain Awareness Month. Yesterday was my grandfather's birthday, Willie Clay Jeffcoat, and he succumbed to Alzheimer's, but Alzheimer's is really important to me. I want to increase public awareness and understanding of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia, which affect millions of families across. And so I just want to take this moment to recognize him and the loved ones and caregivers that have to care for those that have Alzheimer's.
Thank you, Councilwoman Alt.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to take a few minutes just to announce some other upcoming volunteer opportunities and events that weren't mentioned at the beginning of our meeting in public comments. The first is this Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m., the Georgia Native Plant Society habitat restoration areas within the park. Be sure to bring some garden gloves. And then on June 29th at 11 a.m. at the South Cobb, and I hope to see you there. And that's it.
Thank you.
Of course, happy birthday to this great city of Mableton. Thank them up because not only do they have an amazing facility, and Bishop and Lady Jones are doing an amazing thing with the building. Stay tuned for that. We, as a council, are going to continue. Have not gotten a phone call or have not gotten appointed to something does not mean that you're lost. We're working towards that, and everything that we do every time we come to meet is city. We can't do planning unless we want to continue to be accountable to you. So if you have something that you have as a question, reach out. A number of you have, a number of you do. So continue to reach out and continue to voice your opinion. Continue to let us know about the things that you'd like to see in the city of Mableton. This city is not going to be built by the 7 of us. It's going to be built by the 79,000 of us. I'm selfishly going to say this month is Father's Day month. So men, happy Father's Day to those dads. Men, go get doctor's appointments. Go get checked out. We cannot continue to lose our men too early. We cannot. So continue to, I hate going to the doctor, but I did it. And I'm imploring all of you to go make your doctor's appointments. Men are sitting here today because they went to the doctor and early detection helps. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Herndon.
Good evening, everyone. The good thing about being last is usually everyone has said everything I want to say. So I'm always very short, but I do want to thank all of you who showed up. Happy anniversary to the city of Mableton, and it was really a great event. And I also want to thank, because I see some of you here in the audience, those of you who came to our Planning and Zoning 101 workshop. And I'm excited about what Mableton has in store, and we have some amazing people who have volunteered to work on this particular board, and I'm so grateful for you all. And I just want to encourage you, as TJ has already said, for those of you who want to be involved in the city of Mableton, please go on to mableton.gov where you'll see a list of the cabs that are available. Reach out to your council member if you're interested. Because Mableton definitely needs you, and we thank those of you who have already sacrificed your time and have signed up for one of those cabs. And that's it for me. You guys have a good evening and safe travels back home.
Thank you, Councilwoman. One note, there was one public comment card that did not get called, and that is Ms. Joe from the South Carolina Regional Library. Would you like to come up, ma'am, and get your requisite 2 minutes? I apologize for the oversight.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Joe Lehman, District 1. I asked the city clerk for 4 minutes, so I thought she banned me because I asked for more time. But anyway, congratulations and happy birthday, Mableton. A couple of months ago, I think I talked about Vision to Learn. So Vision to Learn started at the South Cobb Library this week on Monday. Monday, they did 13 exams. 5 children got glasses. Well, will get glasses. Yesterday, 2 vans came. They did 33 exams. 20 children need glasses. So this is going on at 6 libraries. So that was just at South Cobb. And there are four more days that they will come. So just think about all the children that need glasses and all those that will not be able to because all the slots are full for this summer. And one other thing, I know we all think we have treasure in our backyard. So on June 26th, Randy from the South Cobb, from Stone Mountain Treasure Hunters will be at South Cobb, and he's going to teach you all how to treasure hunt and start treasure hunting clubs in your own neighborhood. So come join us on June 26th, South Cobb Library, 5 o'clock. So I'm going to be quick and stop right there. Thank you.
There's a couple of things that I want to say tonight, starting off with what everyone else I think have said is to celebrate and commemorate our 1-year anniversary. we are all busy with hundreds and thousands of things to do every day and every week. But I sincerely felt that this first year commemoration was something that we absolutely had to do. It was a way to obviously commemorate the first year anniversary, but a way to get the publicly actively engaged in celebrating that and coming together and building some unity and getting people together with us outside of this more formal setting. And at least to say that I believe it was incredibly successful. I know people near and far I've heard about it thus far. The golf tournament that we had on Thursday, the senior event that we had on Friday morning, the fun run and the festival that was on Saturday, and the four church services that I attended on Sunday. But what I wanted to mention is our partners that were part of this with us. And the first one is the Senior Citizens Council of Cobb County, who is a fantastic organization. Myself and the city, we want to ensure that our seniors are at the table in a multitude of different ways. We want to make sure we gave back to them and ensure that our seniors understood that we value them, we value their input, and also want to recognize them as well. So the Senior Citizens Council of Cobb County was our partner with that. For the fun run on Saturday morning, Inspire EDU is a company ran by a gentleman named Richard Hicks, who is a Mableton resident. He's a part-time Mableton resident. He was a graduate of Pebblebrook High School, and he now owns a company that works to close the digital divide. They work with different school systems and different companies or different districts to help train both youth and older people on digital equity and hoping to and working to close that divide. And most of the time when they're finished, they give laptops away. To ensure that they can go out people can go home and be able to more adaptly be able to engage with where we are in a modern society today. On the Sunday, I'll mention the churches that took part in this. Now, there was hopefully many other churches. I'm not sure how many churches or places of worship took part in the celebration over the Saturday and Sunday, but I know World of Faith under the leadership of Bishop Bronner took part. Faith Christian Church of Mableton, Dr. Andy Daniel and the executive pastor Barry Smith attended, and I think we had several members of the council attend that service, as well as our city clerk and our financial consultant. And then to Faith Christian Center up off East-West Connector, and Pastor Carrick Butler, who gave us a very warm welcome and also bought green cupcakes, which they handed out to everyone after the service. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So, thank you to not only our sponsors and our vendors, but also to these key partners that also helped this happen. I want to also acknowledge and somewhat of a announcement about one of the partners and beneficiaries of the weekend, which is a new organization that I've created. It's called the Mayor's Educational Impact Fund. And this is a fund that I'd started talking about last year before I even got elected, about how we could do something about the schools in this city. Now, as mayor and council and city government, we are not responsible or have oversight of our schools at all. But one thing that's been very apparent to me in living here all these years, and especially now as mayor, is a simple premise, and that is a city cannot be stronger than its schools. City can be no stronger than its schools. When people are deciding about where to move to, about where to live, about where to relocate, they take a critical look at our schools. And if our schools are not on par with West Cobb or East Cobb, we are going to be limited in that factor as a city and a governing body. So I've started this nonprofit in efforts to be able to work outside the schools, to offer opportunities for students, to offer exposure, but also to be able to highlight and bring awareness about how we can work between the school system and the nonprofit sector and philanthropies to be able to bolster our students, to be able to bolster our schools. This is not unlike what some of the other cities have and areas have. It was mentioned about East Cobb and West Cobb, where there's foundations that exist to ensure that those schools, those students, their teachers, and parents get to things that they need to have. Again, more to come as we're building our board around that, and looking forward to having members from the school board, potential members from the city, as well as school administrators join me in this particular effort. The last thing I want to bring up is congratulations on our Mableton 2045. I am super, super excited about this. Right, I am really excited, and I will state for the record, Mr. Tanks, we absolutely do need to get a Mableton 2045 steering committee up and going, because I want to make sure that our key members of the city, as well as our business community, is brought to the table in helping us to shape this Mableton 2045 effort. The last thing I want to announce is that the U.S. Conference of Mayors, which I'm a member of, and Comcast, put out a grant proposal, which was called Closing the Digital Divide and Tomorrow's Future. I almost, on a lark, applied for this grant. I actually called Sonia Grant, who is the CEO of Cobb Works, and asked her if she would partner with me on this effort, which is a digital initiative to, again, help close the digital divide, make sure that people in Mableton are being trained for 21st century jobs. So as they're working to stand up Cobb Works, I thought it was a great opportunity to take advantage of a grant that had been presented. So I spoke with Ms. Grant. I worked and got the grant actually submitted, and lo and behold, we actually was named one of the 10 finalists in this grant submission from cities from across the country. So I am super excited about that. It is part of what we're calling the Mableton Digital Equity Initiative. And again, the work is that we can work in partnership with Cobb Works and focus on bringing in specific talent to be able to train people in Mableton, train them in cybersecurity efforts, train them in technology, train them in innovative efforts for jobs for the future, solar, wind, things that we'll be able to retool and train people, both young and old. So hopefully, my fingers are crossed that at this Conference of Mayors this summer, we've already made the final 10, and that Mableton will be one of the cities chosen. So thank you. That does it for my updates. And for all you that will not be around after our executive session, I want to thank you for coming as usual. Our next meeting will be on June the 26th at 6:30 here in the same room, as far as we know right now.
Mr.
So with
Mayor,
that being said,
I did want to ask that we go into executive session for the purpose of real estate. Yes, sir. I forgot to ask that question. For real estate litigation and personnel services.
yes, sir. So with that being said, I would like to entertain a motion to take us into executive session for litigation, real estate, personnel.
Motion to go into executive session for litigation, real estate, personnel.
I second.
Thank you. Motion being made and duly seconded. All those in favor of going to executive session for litigation, real estate, and personnel, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, everyone, for coming again. We will be going into executive session. Thank you. Bring sensor. All right, thank you everyone for waiting while we were in executive session. I'd like to entertain a motion to exit executive session.
I'll make a motion to exit executive session.
Second.
Thank you. Motion being made and duly seconded. I'd like to entertain a vote. All those in favor of exiting executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Do we have a motion coming out of the executive session?
Yes. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to approve agreements for due diligence services for potential acquisition of land within the city-designated urban redevelopment area within the parameters of the spending plan.
I second.
Thank you. Motion being made and duly seconded. All those in favor of voting on the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Thank you. Duly noted, Madam Attorney, we have 6 yeas and 1 nay, the negative being Councilwoman Alt. Thank you. I don't know that we have any other business or any other motions ahead in front of us.
We have 2 items on the agenda. The resolutions.
Thank you. It says 16A, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep.
All right, so item 16A is consideration and approval of a resolution, a prerequisite resolution declaring the need of a Mableton Urban Redevelopment Agency, establishing a urban redevelopment area, and for lawful purposes. Let's move forward with that one. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of this resolution.
Make a motion for approving the consideration and approval of resolution, a prerequisite resolution declaring the need of a Mableton Urban Redevelopment Agency, establishing an urban redevelopment area, and other lawful purposes.
I second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and properly seconded. All those in favor of approving the resolution, a prerequisite resolution for declaring the need of a Mableton Urban Redevelopment Agency, establishing an urban redevelopment area, and for other lawful purposes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Let the record state that there was 6 votes in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, negative being Councilwoman Alt. That takes us to item 16B. 16B is the consideration and approval of a resolution establishing membership and composition of the Mableton Urban Redevelopment Agency and for other lawful purposes. At this point in time, I would like to entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion to consider and approve of resolution establishing membership and composition of the Mableton Urban Redevelopment Agency and for other lawful purposes.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion being made and properly seconded. I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the resolution establishing the membership and composition of the Mableton Urban Redevelopment Agency and for other lawful purposes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you.
Mayor, procedurally, can we make one procedural correction?
Yes, ma'am.
I meant to include the word "any" in the recommendation that I gave for the URA motion. So if the council would be willing to do a motion for reconsideration and then to vote one more time on that item.
And that is 16A.
That Councilwoman Oladapo.
Is that 16?
No, that's Oladapo's.
Oh, that's the original. Oh, okay. All right, sorry.
So you can say it identical as worded if we do the motion for reconsideration now. You don't have to include the word "any," but I meant to include the word "any" in my recommendation, and I did not do that accidentally. So if you'd entertain a motion to reconsider, and then after you would, if the motion for reconsideration passes, if you would give Councilwoman Oladapo the opportunity to say her motion again.
Yeah, at this point in time, I entertain a motion for reconsideration for Councilwoman Oladapo's previous motion.
I second.
Thank you. Been moved and
Well,
seconded.
I think you asked for a motion, so you would need someone to
make the motion.
make the motion and then the second.
Okay, you make the motion.
He asked for it. Now you
I
ask
make a
for it.
motion to reconsider.
Yes, you voted affirmatively, so you can make the motion.
Okay, well, I make a motion to reconsider my previous motion.
And then now you can second, because we have the motion on the table.
Second.
Wait. What?
So they're
Did
trying
you
to
just make this-
reconsider.
Did you make the same motion again? It's the exact same
No,
motion.
so for reconsideration.
Okay.
It's a reconsideration so she can so do the motion over again, basically.
Okay, yeah.
So we can reword it.
Yeah, so it can be reworded.
So we don't need to reword.
Yes, you do not need to reword it now, assuming the council gives you the ability to reconsider.
But we got to vote.
So the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of reconsideration, right, yeah. For reconsideration on the previous motion made by Councilwoman Odapo, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay. Oh, sorry. Aye.
Okay. It's getting late. All right. Let the record state there was 7-0 on that motion and the vote, sorry. All right, now with that being said, I would like to entertain a motion from Councilwoman Odapo.
All right, I make a motion to authorize the mayor to approve agreements for due diligence services for potential acquisition of land within the city-designated urban redevelopment area within the parameters of the spending plan.
She didn't say anything.
She didn't make it.
Well, she
She
doesn't
said
need
I
to
don't
say
have
any
to.
now because we've designated the area.
Right.
I second.
The motion has been made and properly seconded by Councilwoman Davis. All those in favor of the motion just made by Councilwoman Odapo, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
I'm going to oppose just because I'm not sure what the change was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No.
So let the record state it was 6-1, 6 to the affirmative, 1 to the negative was Councilwoman Ock. All right, I do believe that concludes all the business in front of us, which is covered item 16A and 16B. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Jeffcoat. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Thank you. We stand adjourned.